Hi, this is Dana with Stella House Films, and today is my day 9 of the Misha Hedy live 50 Days of Live Video Challenge. I missed yesterday because I was running around with like a chicken with its head cut off to complete a job and to get a contract signed and payment. It was just like a really crazy day. So I missed yesterday. But I'm going to make it up to you today with some really great content. Today I'm going to talk about what you should look for when you're hiring a wedding videographer. Hi, Adriana! What you should look for when you're hiring a wedding videographer. Now, I've been asked, well, actually, let me go back a little bit. So a couple of days ago, I met with my friend Siggy. He gave me some SD cards back, and he's like, I've been watching your videos and you're doing too many videos. You're not that interesting. Like, what are you doing? And just FYI, Siggy is Icelandic, so his Icelandic humor sometimes really doesn't, hey sweetie, sometimes his Icelandic humor doesn't translate into American humor, but he's a really great guy. And Siggy, I did not take that personally. I'm gonna keep doing my videos every single day for 50 days, and you're just gonna have to deal or not watch it. So just don't watch them anymore, even though I'm probably gonna talk about you every day just because you said don't do them. So anyway, Siggy is a very good photographer. Highly recommend Siggy. He does incredible real estate photography and aerial. He also does video, so he is my competition. But he does incredible aerial video, real estate of ranches and stuff. That's enough about Siggy. I've talked about him enough. On to how to pick a wedding videographer. And it kind of will help you figuring out how to pick a wedding photographer as well. So, when you're planning your wedding and you're like, oh, do I need a wedding videographer? Yes, you do, even if it's not me. Let's say you live in New York and there's 1,000 wedding videographers to choose from. I'm sure you want to hire one of them. But if you're in Texas, you should hire me. Or in the Bahamas. Or Jamaica, you know, just fly me in. Anyway, I travel everywhere. I live on a ranch in Texas that is an hour out of San Antonio, but all of my weddings are outside of where I live. San Antonio, Houston, Austin. I've gone to New York. I've gone to Jamaica. I've gone to West Texas. I go everywhere for weddings, and I love it. That's one of the my favorite things about being a wedding videographer is traveling to weddings. It's part of the adventure. So, I still haven't gotten to the point. Okay, picking a wedding videographer. Now, what is your approach to your wedding? Are you having a very traditional wedding? Are you having a funky wedding? Are you having a totally out of the box, nothing like a wedding? If so, then look at the videographers in your area. You know, when I say your area, look like within several hundred miles, because most videographers travel outside of their city. So look at videographers in your region and see who best matches your approach to your wedding. Now, when for instance, for me, my approach to weddings is I've done very traditional weddings and I've done very funky weddings. So I'm kind of moldable to anything. But my approach to shooting them is shooting them in a very artistic way that highlights the beauty of the love, for one. Like, if I don't highlight the love on that day, I have done a really poor job. It's not so much, you know, filming the little tiny monogram on a napkin or the flowers on the table, even though I do that as well. That's not the point that I use when I approach a wedding. I want the one-on-one interactions with people, with friends, with family. That's what I want to shoot. I want to shoot your grandmother coming and giving you a kiss on the cheek. I want to shoot your dad seeing you in your dress for the first time. That's what I want to capture. I want to capture that emotion and those tears and that sheer love that only you can experience on that one day of your life on your wedding day. So that's my approach to weddings, no matter if they're traditional or they're artistic. That is what my aim is to capture the love and the feeling, because that's something that can only be recreated in video. It can't be recreated in photography. Photographs, I started off when I was 8 years old taking photographs. That's how I went into the art world. That's why I did so much photography in high school. That's why I did photography in college. But there was something about film that was, it jogged my emotions more than any photograph could do. So that's why you want photography and videography. And the videography is very important because if you're hiring a wonderful, insane photographer and your video is sucky, then it really doesn't do justice to the day. So let me talk a little about the different budgets for when you're looking at wedding videographers, what you can expect. So anyone under $1,000, let's say someone's like, oh, I'll charge you $500 or $800 to shoot your to film your wedding. This is what you can expect. You can expect someone showing up that does not do it full time. Someone who has a day job, who is shooting video on the side, so they're not committed to it as a professional full-time videographer is. They're not going to have the amount of skill level of a professional, someone that does it all the time, every day for a living. They're probably not going to have the type of equipment that you need to actually professionally shoot a wedding. And they're not going to edit it to the extent of a professional videographer. They might put it on a USB or put it on a disc and give it to you, because for under $1,000, you can't expect someone to spend 4 to 5 weeks on your wedding, on editing your wedding, of being as thoughtful and as concerned in creating the finished final product as someone who does it for a living. So under $1,000, that's what you can expect. So the next price is $1,000 to about $5,500 to $6,000. So $1,000 to $6,000 is the next price point, and you can expect a highlight, like just the ceremony only, to be, a little bit over $1,000, probably about $2,000, and then if you want your full wedding covered, anywhere from $3,500 to $4,500, including, coverage and drones and all that. Okay, I'm back. My connection is weak. I need to connect to you better. Okay, so the $1,000 to $6,000 is where I fall into Stella House Films. For a full wedding, I have different price points for the deliverables. So let's say you just want a highlight, or you just want the best of the entire wedding. Those are the smaller packages, and then you go up to the full wedding packages, which is everything covered and put into chapters, so you get to see almost every moment of your wedding edited in a really beautifully creative way. That's anywhere from $4,500 to $6,000. And then after that price point, which is basically the price point for all videographers, that $1,000 to $6,000 mark. After $6,000, and I do know some people that are higher than $6,000, that's the price points you get basically in LA, New York. I know Austin videographers are in that price point. People that who have a full-time job as a filmmaker for HBO or Showtime and do weddings on the side, you can expect to spend like $20,000 for those kind of people, $10,000 to $20,000, because it's something special that they do. And anyway, so those are the price points. But people that do it every day, people that make a living off of it, have to pay insurance for their business, for their equipment, that have to pay second shooters, that have to constantly be improving the type of editing software that they use and the lenses. That's the $1,000 to $6,000 mark. So that's basically what you'll pay, which is about average for photography as well. And so some of the things, I hope someone watches this long because I'm going over. I'm talking way longer than I thought I'd talk. So what kind of equipment could you expect for someone to show up with at a wedding? So on a personal level, I am prepared for every situation. If a wedding is in a barn and there's no lights except like little tea lights on the table and Christmas lights hanging from the rafters, and it's very dark, I come prepared with studio lighting so that I can light up the dance floor and actually be able to film the couple. That is something I don't like to do. I don't like to use any external lights. I've only had to do that twice in my career, is actually light up an area so that it's actually able to be seen on the camera. Most situations are in a hall or they're lit professionally with actual lighting people. And I don't use any external lights in that situation. I don't put any LEDs on because I don't want to draw attention to me or my shooters. I want to be in the background. I don't want people to look at me. I'm capturing what is going on at the wedding and not creating a scene. That's one thing that I pride myself in, is not creating a scene and not attracting any attention, especially during the ceremony and especially during the toasts and the dances. I want people to act as natural as possible. So I stand behind pillars. I don't get in front of people's faces. I try to be as shadowy as possible. I have been to some weddings as a guest where there are bright lights lighting up the dance floor and on cameras, and personally I don't like it as a guest, so I don't want to do that as a videographer. What's next? Okay, so let's say you're ready to pull the trigger and hire a professional videographer for your wedding. Watch their promo pages. Most videographers have, of course they have websites, but for instance, I have a page on Vimeo. It's vimeo.com/Stella House, Haus, like the German house, Stella House. And on that page, you can see every video I have ever done in my entire life, every wedding I have ever shot. Actually, most of the weddings that are on there are the highlights of the weddings because most couples don't want to show their full wedding publicly. So I do have a couple of weddings where you can see the full wedding, all the chapters, ceremony, toasts, that I can share privately that I've been allowed to do. So if you'd like to see a full wedding, I can do that. But if you're ready to hire a videographer and it's not me, you should ask to see a full wedding. Everything that goes into a full wedding being captured so that you can make sure, because if you watch a highlight, you're going to be like, oh, this is great, because it's the best of that night. It's the best shots, it's the best lighting, it's the best camera movement. You want to be able to see everything that happened that night and what a finished product looks like. If you're going to spend a few grand on a wedding film, you want to see what other people have gotten. Another great tip in picking a videographer, and this goes as well with photographers. How did you hear about them? Were they the professional at your friend's wedding, at your family's wedding, and they did a great job and they're highly recommended? Are they recommendation by your photographer or another wedding professional that you're using? If so, I would listen to that recommendation, because that means that whoever they're referring is great to work with. And if that person is great to work with, then they're going to be great to work with their client. There's a handful of people who just found me out of the blue, but probably 90% of all of my weddings come from referrals from past clients, from photographers, or from other people in the wedding industry. It's all by a referral. And what does that say? I'm not trying to toot my own horn. What does it say? It says that I'm good to work with, that they want to see me again, and that I'm not a beep beep. I'm not an a-hole. So, sorry. I curse sometimes, but I don't like to put that on my video. So what's next? Yeah, so if you found them out of the blue and their prices are good and all they have is a website and you don't know really who they are, maybe they have some live videos you can see. Maybe they have some knots. They have some reviews on the Knot or Wedding Wire. Look at those and see if they have any negative reviews. And if they do have negative reviews, let's say they have 20 positive reviews and 1 negative review, you can't really, and I don't, I'm just saying this like if you're looking at someone that's not me, if they have 1 negative review, I wouldn't take that as gospel, because sometimes you get some crazy people. My friends, some of my photographer friends have gotten some crazy clients that and I know they have probably tried to serve them to the fullest extent that they possibly can do, and they just cannot make them happy. And you probably will see through investigation or by talking to that photographer that person tried to do everything to please that client, and they were just not able to be pleased. Basically, they wanted all their money back, or they wanted the photographer to do a new album, or just something crazy that they were not able to do for free. And yeah, don't trust the negative reviews. I don't have any, but don't trust them from other people. Just trust your friends, trust the referrals, trust what you see on a live video, trust what you see in the work that you see online. Like if you're looking to hire a photographer, ask them to see a full wedding. I have great referrals to photographers in different price points. I have some people that I love working with, and I have some people I don't love working with. And I guarantee you, I'm not going to say anything bad about the people I don't like working with, but I am going to refer the hell out of the people that I love working with, because referring that person commits me to that same level of professionalism. I'm going to refer Christina Strom or Lisa on Location or Philip Thomas, and those people, I would stake my reputation and my business on how professional they are. That's why I refer them. I'm not going to refer someone who I would be embarrassed by. So what's another thing that in terms of hiring a videographer? Oh, meet them in person. Let's say it's down to, I want to book Dayna. Meet me in person for coffee. Let's go to a coffee shop and have coffee in San Antonio. I don't have an office in San Antonio. I have an office in Fredericksburg, Texas, but I love to go to coffee in Austin or San Antonio. If you're in Houston, we can Skype. We can do a FaceTime call. If you're in New York, we could do a FaceTime call. Let's talk. I want to get to know you to see if we're a good fit, because I want to like you as much as I want you to like me. So to make sure that if I'm going to spend all day with you, that you're comfortable with me spending all day with you. Because when you're hiring a videographer, and a photographer, you're hiring someone to spend more time with you than any other person at your wedding. Me and the photographer are going to be with you when you're getting ready, when you're ready to walk down the aisle, when your dad sees you, when your mom sees you, when your grandparents see you, when you're in the church, after the church, on the way to the reception, at the reception. We're going to be with you all day, so you better like us, right? So let's get to know each other and see if you like me. Let's see. Oh, with a photographer and a videographer, I've found that hiring them for who they are and their approach and their capabilities is also allowing them to do what they need to do to capture your wedding day the best. Giving them as few restrictions and as few guidelines as possible. And especially that comes into account, especially with a photographer, not so much with a videographer, because as a videographer, I am with the photographer the entire time. So the photographer's restrictions really reflect on what I'm able to do, because I'm with the photographer. I'm not getting in front of the photographer. I'm not telling the photographer what to do. I am working side by side with them. So when you tell the photographer, I want these 60 pictures after the wedding, and I want one with my grandma. I want one with my grandma and my grandpa. I want one with my grandma and my grandpa and my mom and my dad. I want one with my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, and my dad, and his ex-wife. Like, don't give them all these crazy things that you want done. Let them capture the day. Like, let them take the post-ceremony pictures and let them do what they naturally do. If there's someone that really is important that you have in all the pictures, give them a few of the important parts, but don't give them like 3 pages of these are all the shots I want. Because if you're hiring them for their artistic vision and their capability. And giving them that many restrictions and that many things that they have to get really hampers what they're able to capture naturally and creatively. I have only been to a couple weddings where that has happened, and the have to get shots by the photographer really hamper that the bride or the groom or the parents or whoever's ever hiring them puts on them, really hampers the creativity that that artist, that photographer, and that videographer are able to capture. So give them free rein. Give them a little bit of what you want, but then let them loose and let them do what they want, what they're capable of doing. That's about it for today. If you have any questions whatsoever, why don't you send me an IM? And if you don't think that I'm doing too many videos, if you don't have the views of Siggy where you're like, Dayna, I like seeing you every day. It's fun. I don't watch it the whole time. I watch it for like 30 seconds, but keep doing it. Then subscribe to my page. Subscribe to me, Dayna D. Dayna de Hoyos, Dehoyos. Subscribe to Stella House Films, and so that you can see me every day, even if you don't want to. You don't have to watch it. You might watch one a week. That's good. So if you know anyone that's getting married, if you know anyone that would appreciate this kind of instruction from someone who is a professional in the industry, can you share it with them? I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow. Wait a minute. I'm not going to see you tomorrow. I have a wedding tomorrow. I might go live for maybe 1 minute before the wedding. I might do that. But tomorrow I'm going to have a 12-hour workday. It's going to start at 8:30 a.m. Get to San Antonio, pick up my shooters, and then it's going to be a lot of running around. So you might not see me tomorrow, but you'll see me on Sunday. So have a great weekend. Today's my day off, and tomorrow's my work day. So I will see you at some point.